your container garden. If you've decided to go with a container garden, this is going to be just kind of what you need to do to prepare for planting, and how you want to prepare your containers. So I am fortunate enough to have friends and livestock, so I'm able to get these old mineral bins that they've used. These are really nice sturdy containers. You could even contact some of your local farmers and see if they have any that they would be willing to give away, or that you could purchase from them. They're usually relatively cheap if you have to purchase them from someone, but the problem is they do not have drainage holes. So that's going to be the first thing that we do to these containers, is drainage holes. Now if you are not going to use a container like this, you can always use grow bags. So I purchased these off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. And I'm going to use these for my potatoes and tomatoes and things like that. These already have a filtration system, so you don't need to worry about puncturing any holes or anything like that. Or you can use any type of pot that you might get from Home Depot or Lowe's or Roll King or something like that. They've got plenty of options for those as well. And they do not have to be this big. This is the size the mineral tubs are. I'm planning on planting a lot. Just because I have a lot of ideas. So you can make your container garden as large or as small as you would like it to be. Like I said, I'm planning on planting quite a few things. So I have 5 of these bins here, and then I'm getting quite a few more as well. So like I said, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to drill holes in the bottom of these, so there is plenty of drainage. So like I said, these do not have drainage holes, so I am going to just use a drill with a drill bit and just drill some holes in the bottom, just to give it some drainage holes for when we put soil and everything in it and the water has somewhere to go, so it doesn't lag in the bottom and kill all of your plants. Okay, so I have some drainage holes put in here, and this one is going to be ready for me to start filling up with some organic materials as well as some soil. So I'm going to walk you guys through all of that as well. So we'll do that next. Okay, so now it's time to fill our tubs. And so I have a couple of tricks, I guess you could call them. If you're going to use big containers like these can get really, really heavy really fast. So we are trying to do this pretty cheaply as well. So this is going to save you on some of your potting soil as well, because some of that potting soil can be really expensive, and you don't want to fill this entire tub up with just potting soil, or you'll be putting a bucket, a bag to each bucket, and it can add up really fast. So one of the suggestions that I have is plastic bottles. So if you go through a lot of plastic bottles, save these, and we're going to put a layer of those down on the bottom. Milk jugs work great too. This is just to give it a little bit of extra space, so it takes up some of that space, so you're not having a bunch of dirt in there and a bunch of soil taking up a ton of space. So I've asked family and friends to kind of save some plastic bottles for me because I don't use them personally, and so that's what this is. So now I've got like a nice layer on the bottom of it, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually put in some organic material. This is something like sticks, leaves, things like that. You just want to break them up. This is doing the same thing as the plastic bottles. It'll give plenty of filtration, so you don't have to worry about clogging up your tubs. And I'm just putting some sticks in the bottom. You can also use some like loose knit leaves and things like that. Again, this is just to take up space, so you're not putting a ton of soil in each of these tubs, so it gets really heavy, or you're spending a lot of money just on topsoil, because you don't really need that much topsoil for some of these plants. They don't require, they need to be 2 foot or 3 foot deep. So this is just kind of one of those tricks. Once we get this organic material in there, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to add compost to mine. You do not have to do this. This is just something that you can do if you have it. We have compost because my family lives on a farm, so we've got straw mixed in with some animal feces and things like that. So I'm going to use that as compost. That is just going to add some extra nutrients to my soil. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some topsoil in on top, and then I'm going to put my potting soil on top of that. So that will kind of give you a general idea, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm all done. Okay, so I'm out in the field. I'm at a spot where the cows used to eat hay. We move the feeder every now and then so it doesn't get too messy, but this is an old location where the feeder was, and so there's lots of compost material in here. So we've got some topsoil mixed in, we've got some leftover hay that's been trampled on, we obviously have some cow feces, and we have some really nice manure and fertilizer. That kind of stuff is all kind of mixed in here. So this is really, really good compost material. I'm going to put that in after my sticks in organic matter, so that way when I go to put my potting soil on top, it's still not as heavy, but all of this nice rich nutrient soil is going to be kind of their beginning point. So that's what I'm going to do next, and then we'll put the topsoil in on top. I am back at home now, and I've got my plastic bottles in the bottom. I've got my compost stuff. I've got my sticks and other like leaves and stuff like that is in here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break up some of this soil that I put in here. So you can do that with your hands, or I've got a little shovel. I'm just going to break it all up so it's nice and soft and not in these big clumps like this. So I'm going to do that first. And I can smell how good this compost and topsoil mixture is. So now once I have that all nice and broken up, I'm going to put my potting soil on top. So this is just Miracle-Gro potting soil. You can get it anywhere. I think I purchased mine from Home Depot for $13, I think. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that on top. Depending on how full I need this to be, you're going to need like a nice layer of the potting soil on top. Probably a couple inches deep, because that's where you're going to be planting your seeds into, or your plants. Once you get them, they're going to go right into that potting soil. So I'm probably going to use a decent amount, like I said, probably an inch or two thick of the potting soil is what you want. Okay, so that's everything for those containers right now. I've got my 5 behind me. I'm gonna, like I said before, I'm gonna be adding quite a few more containers, just because I have intentions of planting a lot of things. I went ahead and put a little bit of water in there just so they have a little bit of moisture before we start adding the plants and the seeds, and then I'll show you that part once we get to it. The other thing that I'm going to do pretty soon is I'm going to plant my peas. So peas are one of those cool season crops, so they can go in the ground a little bit earlier. I'm going to go ahead and probably do that this week. And then what that means is I'm actually planting them in one of my flower beds instead. Peas are one of those crawling plants, so they need to trellis and everything, so you can do those in a container. But I'm going to go ahead and do mine in a flower garden just because I have the space to do that. And I'll show you guys how I'm going to do that as well. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.